What is going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, GeoFucks. And we're talking about the student loan payments, them stopping the pause basically 3.5 years later. Mind you, we've had the student loan pause since March of 2020 because of the coronavirus pandemic. COVID-19. And, 3.5 years later, I mean, they're supposed to reinstate them. They originally were going to reinstate them. They were originally going to reinstate them June 30th, but they decided to extend it again to August 30th. And then all of this, compromising that Democrats and Republicans are doing, aka the bipartisanship that everybody always likes to, yay, it's so great that they rock across the aisle and work together. Oh my gosh, united we stand. But really what ends up happening, in my opinion, is that the Democrats bow down and just throw all of their constituents under the bus in order to have this bipartisanship with the Republicans, in my opinion. Because now there's discussion that the interest rates that had been, pretty much paused because we were all in forbearance if you had a federal student loan, now they're talking about, because they had to make this compromise so we could work together as bipartisanship to meet the debt ceiling, to stop that from being a catastrophe. They finally came together. But when they came together, those compromises is that, hey, wait, there's a happy pizza over here now? Oh my gosh. Okay, so my bad. So the compromise is, hey, guess what? Guess what? Come closer. Guess what? Come closer. Guess what? Come closer. The compromise is that the interest rates that weren't accruing the past basically 3.5 years since March of 2020 can be retroactive back. So they can go all the way back to March of 2020 to add all of that interest that wasn't accruing because our student loans were in deferment. Are you kidding me? And my thing is this, where do they think we're going to be getting the money from to do any of this? We're already strapped for cash. A lot of us are working 2 and 3 jobs, doing side hustles. I'm about to pick up an additional part-time job, and I already have a part-time job on top of a full-time job, on top of side businesses, on top of side hustles, on top of trying to do other volunteer things to get things up off the ground, trying to take care of family, trying to take care of myself, etc., etc. And I'm not, saying this to be like a boo-hoo, woe is me, because what I'm saying is nothing unique. Unfortunately, a lot of people are doing this and dealing with this. And it's just absolute garbage, because it's again, where do they expect people to get this money from to start to have an additional bill? Cost of living, everything has gone up except our wages and salaries. And it's a lot of us also had to accumulate additional debt because of the cost of living being so high, and our wages and salaries not really reflecting that, not keeping afloat. So a lot of us have had to accumulate additional debt or have had to take on additional responsibilities. When the pandemic started, I was still driving a 2015 or a 2009 Chevy Malibu. My car crapped out on me Labor Day 2022 last year. Started driving my mom's 2007 G5 in September of 2022. That crapped out on me at the end of January of 2023. February, I got a new car. I had no other choice, and it's not a new car, it's a newer car. I got a used car. You know what I mean? I got a 2020 car, which for me is new because I have never had a new anything. So, and again, that's a bill, that's a payment that I wasn't, that's That's $441 for the car payment at a 5.49% interest rate. And then my car insurance is $141 a month. So again, I had to take on additional responsibilities, additional bills. And everyone's like, oh, well, that's just how it is. It is just how it is. But the problem is we're not being paid enough to take on additional bills. Nobody's talking about the fact that a lot of us are severely underpaid. Nobody's talking. It's just nobody's talking about the struggles that a lot of us go through because of this economy. And they're just like arbitrarily like, oh yeah, we're just gonna add these on back in. And mind you, we were supposed to be getting the student loan forgiveness for federal student loans. It was going to be $10,000 for everybody at a federal student loan rate, and then it was going to be $20,000 if you received the Pell Grant. I received the Pell Grant in undergrad, so I was potentially, like millions of others, was potentially going to get up to $20,000 forgiven on our federal student loans, but that was pretty much backed at the courts. And it hasn't been, they're still arguing that and debating that and fighting that in the courts. And that's just been on hold. So here we are nearly a year later, and we still haven't really received any assistance. Like a lot of us already know, we're going to have to get second and third jobs. We're going to have to get additional part-time jobs. We're going to have to try to find every little way we can cut back. But realistically, a lot of the stuff you're asking us to cut back on, we've already cut back on. So it's just, at this point, I've pretty much come to the realization that you just have to get another job. You know what I mean? Like, the way they got things set up, we're just gonna have to get additional jobs. And I know a lot of y'all are y'all feeling the crunch too. You probably feeling where I'm coming from. And I understand it's a lot. Like you're trying to keep afloat. But that's how it is out here. I have information in the description box below. Get ready to prepare to start paying your student loans. Start budgeting and actually creating a budget and looking at what you're going to have to cut back on. And I'm going to do some walkthrough videos on that very soon as well. Stay tuned.